What's good, y'all, and welcome back to another week of a quick word, devotional, challenge, encouragement, whatever you want to call it. The word for this week actually came kind of spontaneously. I was looking at the Bible app. I pull it up every once in a while, get the little verse of the day. The verses of the day just be fire, something to just meditate on, reflect on. And the one for day really stood out to me. And God really spoke to me, and I believe that the word he gave me is also for all of y'all. And it's actually kind of an encouragement and kind of a challenge, but it comes from Psalms 55:22. And in Psalms 55:22, the verse says, "Cast your burden on the Lord and he will sustain you, for the Lord will never allow the righteous to be shaken." And when I think about that verse, y'all, the thing that pops into my mind instantly is I don't want the verse to read that way. That's not what I want. That's not comfortable for me. I want the verse to say, "Cast your burden on the Lord and he will take it away. He will give you the solution. He will help you get out of it," right? But that's not what the verse says. It says, "Cast your burden on the Lord and what? He will sustain you." What does that mean? That means he will carry you through. That means he will hold you in those moments. He will help you to stand when you can't stand anymore. I think of another verse that you may have heard, which is, "Come to me all who are weary and heavy laden, and what? I will give you rest." I will give you rest. It's not the removal of the issue. It's not the removal of the burden. It's not the removal of the circumstance. It's a promise to be with us in the midst of it, to carry us when we're in the midst of it, to walk alongside of us in the midst of it. And that can be frustrating, y'all. Because I think of how often when I pray, do I ignore how God is sustaining me? Do I not even think of how God is sustaining me because I'm so busy focused on the solution? That's what we want from God. We want solutions to our problems. We want answers. We want wisdom and guidance to remove the burden. We're not necessarily concerning or even thinking about how he's sustaining us in the midst of it. But my challenge for you this week is that whatever you are in the midst of waiting for, whatever you are in the midst of going through, I challenge you to shift your focus from, "God, I need your answer," to, "God, how are you sustaining me in this moment?" Because when I begin to think about how he's sustaining me, it produces in me gratitude, and it allows me to see how he's moving in the midst of my situation. When I'm so focused on solutions, I don't see how God moves because I'm not looking for it. All I'm looking for is that answer. All I'm looking for is that thing. All I'm looking for is that solution that I crave. But when I switch my focus to not simply looking for the solution, but to acknowledge and celebrate and worship God for how he's sustaining me even in the midst of it, then I won't be shaken. Because I know that God is still God. God is still good, and God is still working and moving in the midst of my situation. Cast your burden on him, and what? He will sustain you. I wonder if what you need right now isn't necessarily just the solution. I'm not doubting you need a solution, y'all. I got some things I need a solution to, but I'm wondering if what you need to grasp on to just a little more hope, to just a little more peace, to just a little more joy is not necessarily seeing that solution, but what? But knowing that God is moving, but knowing that he's still working on your behalf, but knowing that he hears you, that he cares. And how can I do that unless I begin to acknowledge and recognize how he is sustaining me even now? Yeah, you might be struggling, but you're here. Yeah, you might be burdened, but you're moving forward. Yeah, you might be weak, but the Bible says his power is made perfect in our weakness, y'all. He does not simply promise us that he will remove things, obstacles, situations, circumstances. He doesn't just promise us to give us the supernatural ability to move past that. What does he promise us? He promises us that he'll be with us. There's one of my favorite artists. I'm actually repping his hoodie. His name's KB. He's a Christian hip hop artist, but he has this song and it's called Art of Hope. And in the song Art of Hope, he ends the song by saying, he says, "If you ain't never left us, then maybe it's not over." And I challenge you to listen to the whole song. It's a beautiful song. There's two parts to it, Art of Drifting and Art of Hope. But this is from Art of Hope. He says, "If you ain't never left us, then maybe it's not over." I wonder if in your situation where you feel overwhelmed, burdened, where you feel broken, where you feel like you can't go any further or do anything else and you need God, maybe you just need to know that he's still with you. How is he sustaining you? How is he carrying you? How is he revealing himself to you? And if you feel like he's not, pray and ask him to, because he will not leave us nor forsake us. He will sustain us. He will not allow us to be shaken. What? If we rest in him, if we turn to him, if we hold on to him. Cast your burdens on him, and what? He will sustain you. He will sustain you. That's a confidence. That's a confident statement. He will sustain you. And I am encouraging you today that he will sustain you. But I'm also challenging you to sort of shift your mindset a little this week and say, God, how are you sustaining me? To recognize those things, because the recognition of those things produces gratitude, it produces hope, and sometimes it's exactly what we need to continue moving on and being in him. Love y'all, praying for y'all. God bless. Have a good week. Peace.